Isang bulan na mo orang cuma mata ni kuan ni rangon ni bibo mata ki misa apa? Ni ada di sambulu bidang na sero go di sana. Cuma kira na mo orang cuma.
Tu na sile.
Ni sambula, oyo Mr. Ben.
Kelapa.
Nama kira ni bibo mata ka mo ni kira mo orang bukan main ono. Kena diwa, Bula FM.
Apa tu na sile?
Good evening, this is FPC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. In this bulletin, Education Minister calls on opposition MP to withdraw petition about Nandronga School. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama says Fiji needs to educate more people and provide them with skills. And the Consumer Watchdog urges diabetic patients to shop around for sugar testing machine and its strips. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy has called on opposition member Villaminga Voka to immediately withdraw the petition he presented to Parliament earlier this week. Reddy's comments follow a meeting with the Nandronga Navosa Provincial Council Chairman Ratu Esea Waka yesterday. Alan Stoltz reports.
The meeting in Singatoko was called to clarify the issue of the conversion of the Nandronga Navosa High School into a technical college. Reddy says the petition presented in Parliament created confusion as the Provincial Council and all stakeholders were consulted before discussions had progressed.
I said to Honorable Gavoka, I said, look, the petition has no value because, the owners of the school want an opportunity to be given to the children of Navosa province. And I said that he should do what is honorable in terms of immediately withdrawing the petition and let the children of this province get an opportunity to attend a technical college closer to their home.
The Nandronga Navosa Provincial Council, which owns the school, was represented at the meeting by its chairman, Ratu Esea Waka.
I think in general, holistically, our support of this remains. So we haven't waived, we haven't changed our mind, and looking forward to working with the ministry and the government to make this fruition and a reality.
Waka says Nandronga Navosa has also amongst it students, dropouts and even youths, and the province is tainted as a marijuana planting province. He says there will be a lot of opportunities available for employment for students through such technical colleges. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Opposition parliamentarian Villaminga Voka says about 240 parents, people of the Vanu of Nandronga and Navosa signed the petition, and they claim the initial consultation did not include them. Now, 30-year-old man will be produced at the Singatoko Magistrates Court tomorrow after he was charged with the alleged murder of his wife. The partly decomposed and burnt body of a 29-year-old woman was discovered by a farmer while he was hunting for wild pigs last Wednesday. The victim had been reported missing on the 1st of this month, and her body was found at Seymour. Police Chief of Intelligence and Investigations ACP Henry Brown says investigators have been able to establish the alleged involvement of her husband, who was today charged with murder. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama will lead a state visit to Beijing, China tomorrow. Bainimarama will meet the Chinese President Xi Jinping and the Premier Li Keqiang. He will also hold talks with senior government officials and senior officials from China's private sector. Bainimarama will also visit a number of other cities and meet with potential investors as well as business people who already have business operations in Fiji. The visit to China will also be an opportunity to begin preparations for this year's 40th anniversary celebrations, marking diplomatic relations between the two countries. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama says Fiji needs to educate more people and provide them with skills. Speaking at RC Manubai's awards night, Bainimarama urged employees to work harder in order to contribute towards the economy. Shruti Prasad reports.
Local hardware and manufacturing company RC Manubai Group of Companies last night rewarded 19 employees for their hard work and contribution throughout the year. Prime Minister Voringe Bainimarama, while congratulating the staff for their achievements, said government gives importance to the welfare of employees.
Those of you who are receiving awards tonight represent the very best of achievement within the group over the past 12 months. You deserve your place in the spotlight. But I also want to pay tribute to the 700 staff, and even if you will not receive an award, whether you are a manager, work in customer service, or the company's factories, you have all made the RC Manubai Group what it is today.
RC Manubai's Managing Director Dinesh Patel says they faced a lot of hurdles but always strived for the best.
The process provide more and more new investment opportunities. They create much needed employment. Having said that, as business people, we can invest wherever opportunities exist.
RC Manubai employs about 700 staff throughout its branches around the country. Shriti Prasad, FBC News.
One of the benefits of technology is that clever things can come in surprisingly small packages, meaning sugar testing machines are getting smaller, albeit pricier. And the Consumer Council of Fiji is calling on diabetic patients to shop around when buying a sugar testing machine and strips. Jackie Spate reports.
A survey of 20 pharmacies in Suva, Lautoka and Lambasa, conducted by the Consumer Council of Fiji, produced startling results for diabetic patients.
We found that in some cases the machines were very cheap, but the strips were expensive. If you buy a machine for $33, the latest one is $23, that's the cheapest. A $23 machine, you'll be paying something like $79 for the strip.
Fiji Pharmaceutical Society says, apart from it all being about economics, determining the prices of these items is quite simple.
The prices is determined by whether we get it locally or overseas, or we get it through a local wholesaler, or if we get it from government pharmacy.
Making an impact on price, though, is the Fiji Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Services.
In terms of our supply, we have a big advantage over other private chemists or sales point in town because we buy directly from our manufacturers.
Given the rise in non-communicable diseases, the need for sugar testing machines is expected to rise, which is why the Consumer Council is advising customers to shop around. Jackie Spate, FBC News.
Counter-Stroke Fiji is carrying out its annual appeal to raise funds for its operations. While the organisation receives government and other assistance, it says this is not enough to provide services to the growing number of stroke survivors. Savara Tambua has more.
Counter-Stroke Fiji hopes to raise $2,000 from its street appeal. President Elizabeth Fong says the funds will help with the organization meet its vision and mission to reduce the incidences of stroke.
We do this by providing advice to the community, by holding workshops for those who have had a stroke, and we also have workshops for carers, and this is where this money goes.
Funds also help the organization operate an office in Brown Street, Suva. Counter-Stroke Fiji has assisted 500 people who have suffered stroke, and the number of victims are growing. Current figures show over 900 people suffer stroke. That's 3 people a day.
We also do great awareness in trying to prevent that. We really don't want to have to deal with many more stroke persons, and we do a lot of work. Our activities focus on the prevention aspects also.
Stroke is a lifestyle disease and it can be avoided. Risk factors like obesity, smoking, excessive alcohol intake, high blood pressure and high cholesterol can be controlled. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Stay tuned. Coming up after the break, Itoke Affairs Ministry carries out cultural mapping in villages and provinces.
you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
Welcome back to FBC News. A man suffered minor injuries after his car fell in a drain at Lodala Beach Estate in Suva this morning. Police officers at the scene say the victim was leaving his home when the accident occurred. The car went down the driveway, broke a set of gates, and veered onto the opposite side of Ratundovi Road. The car continued to travel onto Vera Road and landed in a drain in front of International Secondary School. Police spokesperson Anna Naisoro says the driver is under observation at the Colonial War Memorial Hospital. And Naisoro says police are yet to speak to the driver. The Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation have received about 1,800 calls on its child helpline. Minister Rosie Akbar says the calls are for physical abuse, emotional or verbal abuse, child neglect, abandonment and cases of teenage pregnancies. Parents are also being urged to make use of this service.
Adults can call up and say, well, I have a child who's behaving very differently, and they will refer to us. Our welfare officers or counsellors will go out there and talk, and we have been doing that.
And the ministry is planning to set up a similar helpline for women as well. The Ministry of Itoke Affairs has been collecting information from villages and provinces about indigenous culture and tradition unique to those areas. It is hoped the cultural mapping exercise will help protect the rich and diverse traditional practices from various parts of the country. Savara Tambua has more.
As the Ministry of Itoke Affairs travels around the country to gather information from villages, it has found some interesting trends. Permanent Secretary Sabinatha Kaunisela says some villages have very little knowledge of their indigenous ceremonies, dialects and heritage sites.
We found out that some of the traditional handicraft and responsibilities that were known for some of the villages are likely to die out. So what we did is we went back and revived those traditional aspects. We taught them things like, for example, how to weave a mat that their ancestors are known for.
Kaunisela says apart from disseminating information that is already in their database to the villages, they are also getting new details to update their records.
The quicker the verification process takes place, the better it will be. Because now when we ask a question about the village's traditional background or what they are known for, the elderly whom we sought answers from in the past years are no longer there. That's why we do not want to make delays on gathering information and then the verification process.
The information gathered through cultural mapping will be kept by the Itoke Affairs Ministry and will made available to villages upon request. Sabayra Tambua, FBC News.
The 2015 Radio Fiji 2 Kirtan Night was a huge success. The show, which is the station's annual event, was held in Lambasa this year. Ritika Pratap has the details.
A larger-than-expected crowd turned up at Lambasa's Subrel Park to witness the Kirtan competition between Canada's Sonam Bali and Fiji's Amit Kumar.
We're so very thankful to the people of Lambasa. The crowd was, I would say, unexpected. I'm very thankful to the artists too. And I would say we'd like to do more of this thing in Lambasa.
This was Bali's fourth consecutive show with Radio Fiji 2, and she was overwhelmed by the support from the fans.
It's an honor to sing with the great artist Amit Kumar, and it was honestly an honor. And coming to Lambasa, I heard a lot about the Friendly North, and I got to experience it and witness what they mean when they say Friendly North. You guys are amazing people. I love you all. Thank you for the support, the love. It really means a lot to me.
Kumar, who has been singing religious songs since 2007, says he is thankful for the opportunity to sing along a well-known person like Bali.
Sing with Sonam Bali is something like she's one of the great singers, and we've been hearing about her a lot, and singing with her has been like, it was great, I would say, it was great, yeah.
Radio Fiji 2 has organized similar programs in other parts of the country to showcase local talent. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
To neglect your past is to deny your own identity. And that's the motto of tonight's successful Fijian. Chanel Sivan met up with the country's renowned and most experienced archaeologist. Here is his story.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
76-year-old Sepeti Matararamba, or Mata as he is known to many close to him, has travelled the length and breadth of Fiji in search of the origins and the history of this country. Archaeology was not on his mind when he began work as a carpenter at the Fiji Museum in 1983. His love for archaeology, though, developed over the past few years.
No, I wanted to know more about the Fiji history, the proper Fiji history as a whole. And then I got into archaeology in 1987. 1987, that was a salvage excavation carried out on Singatoka sand dunes by the archaeologists from Auckland University. They came over and I joined them, and that was my first archaeological excavation in my life. I really enjoyed doing this type of work.
Mata's passion for the Fijian history grew with each assignment that he carried out.
When we had the report from Auckland University that the bones and the site itself is 2,500 years old, that was something else that got into my mind, that I am doing something that I'll really know more about the Fiji history.
Mata's work covers the discovery of Lapita pottery, which dates back 2,600 years, and remains of the famous Unre Unre, known to have eaten over 800 people in the 19th century. In 2009, Mata was awarded an honorary master's degree in archaeology and prehistory by the University of the South Pacific. Mata hails from the village of Matuku in Lau. He has 4 children and lives in Makosoi in Pacific Harbour.
If somebody does not know their old, where they came from, especially where they lived in those early days during the 1800 or 1900, wherever they were, the old people lived in those early days, I think it's lost.
According to the archaeologist, Fiji was discovered and settled more than 3,500 years before Christ.
This work is really very important to Fiji. I think the education department realized that, and they have been slowly putting us to do more work on in the field. And I really want more local boys, Fijian, to join the archaeology department.
Mata, who has no immediate plans to retire, is hoping young people will be encouraged to study archaeology and be a part of a small but somewhat elite group that has the rich history of Fiji on their fingertips. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
That's a piece there.
Successful Fijians was brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulablaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome to FPC Sports. The Fiji under-23 football side will face Vanuatu in the Pacific Games Olympic qualifying final this evening after initial opponents New Zealand were ruled to have fielded an ineligible player in the semi-final yesterday.
The advantages there are great because we have previously played Vanuatu and our boys are familiar with the environment and with the caliber of Vanuatu team, and the chances should be good, and I'm sure that our boys will go out in all force to make sure that they win. It will be a great achievement if we can win today and qualify for the Olympics. It will be first ever qualification.
The Olympics qualifying final between Fiji and Vanuatu will kick off at 8 p.m. The Fiji women's basketball side defeated American Samoa 75-61 in the final yesterday to clinch the gold medal. The win capped off a remarkable competition for the ladies as their 2011 performance where Fiji settled for the bronze. The men's teams are currently taking on Guam in the final. The Marquis Whippy-led side proved too strong for host PNG in the semi-final last night, winning by 82 points to 52. Cheyenne Rover won Fiji's first gold medal in the swimming pool in the women's 200 meters backstroke, finishing first with Brooke Smith claiming the bronze. Now Fiji remains in fifth spot on the gold medal tally on day 10 of the Pacific Games. There are no changes from yesterday in the top 5 standings as competition heads into the final week from tomorrow. Vodafone Flying Fijians coach John McKee has conceded his side gave away too much possession to the Maori All Blacks in their 27-26 loss yesterday. The home side were looking to start their 2015 international season with a win, but came up short against a clinical Kiwi outfit. Chalindao Dakadaka reports.
The Vodafone Flying Fijians will be lamenting their missed opportunities yesterday in their 1-point loss to the Maori All Blacks. Fiji seemed to have the game locked up at halftime, leading 26 points to 10, but came out of the tunnel in the second spell as a totally different side.
A game like this, it's a game of inches, and we turned over some critical balls. If we could have held on to the ball on a couple of occasions and built some momentum, we could have put them back under the same sort of pressure that we did in the first half. But, in the second half, we just didn't have enough ball to pressure the opposition.
To their credit, the visitors took advantage of all their opportunities in the second half, scoring 2 tries and knocking over a penalty. But McKee says there are a lot of positive notes to take out of this match.
Look, for me, I think, we've been together for a week. Very good progress so far. Very disappointing today to lose the game. But this is our first outing for the year, and we're going to get better from here. We're going to take all the good work we did in the first half, and that's what we can do over 80 minutes. I think this team's going to go very, very well.
The Flying Fijians will now regroup to prepare for their Pacific Nations Cup opening match against Tonga in Suva next weekend. Chalindao Dakadaka, FPC Sports.
The Nasinu and Raketi football sides played to a 2-all draw in Suva today in the first leg of the promotion series for a spot in the Rewa Galaxy Premier League next season. A win for either side in the return leg will guarantee a spot in the top-tier grade next season. And Raketi will host Nasinu in the return leg at Subrel Park in Lambasa next weekend. Today, cloud and showers were experienced especially over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Fine weather prevailed elsewhere. A frontal system lies slow moving to the north of Fiji and extends southeastwards over Tonga and Niue. Meanwhile, a moist easterly wind flow prevails over most southwest Pacific Island countries. Now temperatures, another chilly day as maximum temperatures remain below 30 except in Lambasa. As for tomorrow, another chilly day as maximum temperatures remain below 30 except in Lambasa. Cloudy periods with some showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands will be experienced tomorrow. Elsewhere, it should be fine apart from brief showers, cool nights, moderate southeast winds and moderate to rough seas. Now the further outlook, fine weather apart from brief showers is expected on Tuesday. It should be cool at night. Our main points again, Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy has called on opposition member William Ngavoka to immediately withdraw the petition he presented to Parliament earlier this week. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama will meet the Chinese President Xi Jinping and the Premier during a state visit to Beijing this week. And a 30-year-old man will be produced at the Singatoka Magistrates Court tomorrow after he was charged with the alleged murder of his wife. On to our poll question this week. Can Fiji win the 2015 Pacific Games? Visit our FPC website to take part. Now remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizens@fpc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FPC News. If you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FPC News or hashtag FPC News. You've been watching FPC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.
घर संसार में आपका स्वागत है। आपका अपना छोटा सा स्वर्ग, जहाँ प्यार भरे रिश्ते पलते हैं, जहाँ हेल्थी रहने की सलाह दी जाती है, जहाँ हम आपको और भी सुंदर बनाते हैं और जहाँ स्वाद की सौगात भी है। नमस्कार, मैं हूँ पल्लवी। सोमवार से शुक्रवार 9 से 12 तक रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर घर संसार में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ।
ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना